Welcome to Flick Flops, the podcast where we review critically bad movies so you don't have to.
From box office bombs to straight to streaming duds, we take a deep dive into the films that missed the mark.
Each episode, we'll break down a different movie and give you our honest thoughts on what worked, what didn't, and everything in between.
Whether you're a die-hard movie buff or just looking for a good laugh, we've got you covered.
So grab some popcorn and get ready to join us on a journey through the world of critically bad cinema. This is Flick Flops.
Welcome back to Flick Flops, the podcast where we explore movies that were critically panned but may not necessarily be terrible. We'll find out. We'll wade through the muck to give you the best and worst of these films and determine whether they're truly bad movies or not. Today we're diving into the world of superhero movies with Shazam, Fury of the Gods, the highly anticipated sequel to 2019's Shazam. So grab your capes and get ready to join the fight for justice as we ask ourselves, can I read? No. As we ask ourselves, is Shazam, Fury of the Gods a worthy addition of the DC extended universe or just another forgettable superhero movie? That's right.
Highly anticipated. Hold on.
Hey, I don't know about that.
Let's revisit that line.
Wait, are you going to talk numbers right off the bat?
Go numbers, baby.
You want to go numbers?
Let's do it. Get out of the way.
All right.
Bam.
Talking the numbers.
So this one, Shazam, Fury of the Gods, a sequel to the first movie, Shazam, which I did not see. So
that's key.
We'll discuss that, because I have some questions I think may have answered earlier. But anyway, the budget for this was 110 to 125 million. The current box office was 132 million, 128,000 and some change. So it's, I guess, technically made its money back, but Hollywood does some fuzzy counting, so they're probably still in the hole. Rotten Tomatoes, 49 on the critics, 86 with the fans.
Pretty high rating for the fans.
It's pretty high for the fans. I think, there's a world, there's a crowd for these superhero films, and oddly enough, I'm not that crowd anymore, Gary. I don't know if you and I have ever had that discussion.
Have you aged out of it?
I feel like I have.
Yeah.
A friend of ours, Brent, and I go back and forth all the time. I have not seen, I'm going to tangent here for a second. I haven't seen many of the Marvel movies.
Yeah.
And Gary and I, those people listening have no idea. Gary and I were big comic book fans back in the day. And I loved comic books. I still enjoy a comic book, but for some reason the movies aren't hitting with me.
Yeah.
So that's why I did not see.
Yeah, well,
the first one.
Part of the thing I wonder about with special effects and stuff these days, it's almost like it's so heavy effects in any of these movies now. It's kind of funny. I'll make this point. Tara watched this movie with me.
Okay.
She did not see the first one. She does not watch a whole lot of superhero movies with me. Although ironically, the ones that she has watched has all been DC, except for Guardians of the Galaxy, which is interesting.
Now, again, I haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy. And I know you're probably going to go off on me on that.
Well, I'm not going to, but I am going to still suggest you watch them. I feel like I'm kind of in a sort of place where burnout from the superhero movie stuff.
Yeah, I was the same way with the Star Wars films. I've given up.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot that I look forward to anymore. This movie was not really on my radar to watch. I will tell you, I did watch the first one. I don't recall a whole lot about it, other than I thought it was funny.
Okay,
and,
let me get into my questions.
Okay,
my notes, and you can fill me in because I have not seen the first one. And after
I do not have a whole, and I don't have a whole lot of notes for this movie.
Well, after you had said
so
in our little quick meeting of you definitely need to see the first one, I looked at all myself. I was like, well, that might answer all the things I have going down my list. So
maybe.
So the first thing I wrote, and this is again because I don't know the history of the Shazamly. I don't understand all of it.
A nice one.
I like that. What little I know about Shazam right, comes from this.
Okay, I'm glad you did that, not the other thing.
Comes comes from this.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
The 1974, 75 version of
Late
Shazam.
70s, something like that, yeah.
I never read the comics.
No, me
I'd
neither.
forgotten that he was actually referred to as Captain Marvel. It makes me feel like I don't know what I'm talking about when I tell people, "Oh, I'm a comic book fan," and then I can't pontificate about Shazam. So my first thing I noted was, when did Shazam become 6 people?
Right.
Um, was that
Well, that would
explained
be
in the
that would
first
be
movie?
that would be in the first movie. That's when it became 6.
Okay, because I'm like, who were all these other Shazamers? I don't understand what's going on.
Shaz Now it's Shazamers. I thought it was
The
Shazamly.
Shazamly. Um,
Did you write these beforehand?
I'm working on my stand up. So then the thing that I guess I don't know why this bothers me, and I'm just going to put it out there, is like one of the in the newer version, and even if you go back to this version, why do they look so wildly different? Now, granted, I know some of them were kids and they grow up in the movie, but like
Yeah.
the one dude, he goes from being a guy to having facial hair,
Mhm.
and I'm like, why can't he just be a bigger version of the guy he is? You know? And then why do they all change except for the one girl, Mary? She's actually the same person. Do you know what I'm saying?
Is she?
Yeah. The one
Oh,
girl, the super smart girl, she's the
yeah,
same person when she's not a Shazam and when she is a Shazam.
because she's already older, that's why.
Okay.
I don't know.
So going on that, the main guy, Billy,
Yeah,
he keeps going on about how he's 1 month
he's
away from being 18.
yeah, yeah,
He looks wildly different than he does as a person.
yeah,
So, you know what I'm saying? Using that theory of, well, she's older. How much older? Like, when do
yeah,
you be? He's not going to look that much different.
yeah.
He's not going to look like. Let me see if I can pull the picture up. Um, he's not going to. Where did I put it at? Shit.
You can do it. You can do it. Is that it? Oh, yeah.
So the guy who's the kid looks nothing like this guy.
Well,
Nothing.
that's because, he's got so much of the power that he ages way further
To like 50.
to, like, 40 years old. I have no idea how old
I don't.
Zachary
Again, look, this is just being stupid. But this is the stuff when I'm watching. I'm like, I get like the girls they change because they go from being children to adults and they're going to have body changes. I understand that part.
Yeah,
But the guys look totally different and the one girl stays the same. So that just didn't understand me. It just um one of a stupid little thing during the movie, I don't know if you remember this. The guy that was Shazam I was talking about with the beard. I don't know their names. These guys are superheroes, yet he is baffled by a hot pocket in the microwave. Can't figure it out, so he just throws the whole box in the microwave and hits start. You don't need superpowers to understand how hot pockets work, because if you were a teenager previously, I assure you understand how hot pockets work.
Okay, so, I remember the scene you're
I'm going to
talking
change my
about.
rating while we're talking. By the way,
I
I'm
I
talking
remember
myself
this
into something.
I remember the scene you're talking about, but I don't recall it. I guess I didn't pay attention to the detail that it was a box of Hot Pockets that he
He's
was throwing in there.
Yeah,
I
it was
just
hot
thought it
pockets.
was like a meal, I
Yeah.
wasn't paying attention.
Even then, you take
That's
the
funny.
meal out, you just poke a hole in the cellophane and throw it in
I'm
there.
not arguing that point at all. I can't argue that point.
This scary again for anybody who's paying attention. This is what sticks in my craw. This is what grinds my gears. You know. So let's see. Let's go into something. Another thing I didn't understand because again I did not see the first one.
Yeah.
So to me, it seems like DC is now their new format, except for Batman, is the Daredevil format, where we kind of have fun. It's kind of a comedy, yet not. And I was like, I don't.
Interesting that you say Daredevil. That would be from the point of view of a person who doesn't watch a lot of the superhero movies,
Yes.
because this has been the format that Marvel's been doing now
See,
for
I don't know
a
that I
while
like it.
now.
Like this guy's just a big goofball.
Yeah, it's not I should say it's not all of them that are like that. Um, they definitely inject a lot of humor into it. Um, but,
So that is kind of out there. It's not.
but yeah, that's sorta I mean, this as far as the way that humor kinda plays into the kinda serious part, there's a lot of serious stuff going on, plus there's comedy involved.
Yeah.
Um, that's the whole kinda Guardians of the Galaxy thing too. I mean, that's
Okay.
what you're gonna get out of that kinda movie. They're more to me, it's more like family fun kinda oriented films.
Okay.
You know, they're not super this is not like the Batman
Not
stuff that where it's dark
the
and gritty
brooding.
and that kinda stuff. It's more, injecting humor, a lot of humor into it, more family fun
Okay.
kinda stuff. I
I don't
think that's
hate it. I just didn't know that that's the way we're going because again, I don't watch a lot of these films, so this
yeah,
is kind of new to me, and I'm like, I guess. But again, I also do not know the backstory of Shazam. I don't know. Maybe he was
yeah.
kind of a goofball. I don't even remember the TV series that well.
No, I don't either. I mean, what were we, like, 5, 6 when that came out? I mean, I don't remember. I remember watching it,
And
and I
again, if you go
remember he'd
back
say
to
Shazam, and he'd turn into this hero.
another person.
That's the extent of what I recall from it.
See, what I'm used to is Batman. Bruce Wayne is Batman. He's still the same guy, just wears a mask. Superman is
Yeah,
still Clark Kent.
yeah.
Just takes his glasses off, and now he's unrecognizable. I understand that.
This is almost like a kid kind of, when you were a teenager or younger, and you're like, "Man, I love superheroes. That'd be cool to be Batman or people," and instead you're like, "Oh, I get this injection of power and I become big and become a superhero." It's more like a kid kinda to
Yeah.
me, that's how I kinda look at it. Like a kid would be excited about this kind of movie because it's like, that could be me doing that,
Right.
not
Yeah.
me watching as Batman thinking, "Well, that's
Uh,
already an adult," kinda thing.
let's see, what else do I have in here? Oh, one thing I hate. I'll get to the hate, and then I'll move on to the things I enjoyed. And this is not just in this movie. I hate this in every superhero movie that I've seen. Now, I haven't seen them all, so I can feel free to correct me. However, I feel that I'm right on this. Is that damn superhero landing pose? I
Yeah,
don't know why every super has to land in a 3-point stance and
yeah,
then sullenly look up as if like, oh, now shit's hitting the fan. Like I just hit on all three. Now it's on.
yeah,
I hate it. I mean, Gary, I get mad when it happens on the TV. I'm like, why? They can land any way they want.
yeah.
Oh,
Well,
fuck.
you might be irritated too if they landed on their tippy toes and they were like, little pirouette.
Just land. Just land.
No, I know what you're saying.
I
The
tried to
the
get
the land and you get in the 3 points with the fist hitting and the ground
Yeah,
cracks around
I
them and stuff.
tried to download a picture. I did not get it, so
I don't know if I got allergies or what, I'm just having trouble
I
breathing.
couldn't get it, but, we'll do this one from now on.
That happens to be one of the scenes where the guy all the way to the right lands and does that pose.
Yeah,
I don't think the rest of them do it in that
but
scene. I
it's
think
like,
it's just
but why? Why, Gary?
I don't know. I
God,
can't answer that.
these things bother me. Um,
These are the kind of movies to me that are just that are that are totally intended to be entertaining. You're not gonna get some
yeah,
crazy,
maybe you're
super,
right.
you know, in-depth plot. There's not gonna be some sort of crazy twist that you're gonna not see coming or.
Yeah, I think you're
Uh,
right, and I probably just am, I'm a grumpy old man at this point. I'm yelling at
well,
clouds.
and I don't none of my kids give a crap about any of these movies anymore anyway, so I can't it's not like I could take them to see this kind of movie, but, I there's still part of me that's a child at heart, and I see these movies and I think about how cool it would have been if this was around when I was a kid, that I would have been like,
That's
"Man, this is
true.
pretty
I
bad."
can I can I can dig on what you're putting down there.
One note I said that to Tara when we were watching it and I don't know why it came to mind. I don't know if there was something that triggered it in the movie itself but I was picturing all the crazy effects that they had going on. When they plant the tree in the stadium
Yeah.
and all these branches are breaking through the city and all this crazy shit's going on. I was like, can you imagine somebody from like, maybe it was because of on the heels of watching Babylon,
Yeah.
a movie about 20s silent films and all that stuff. I was like, can you imagine if somebody was taken out of time and somebody loved movies
Yeah.
from those days, 20s or 30s,
Oh,
and
yeah.
was placed in this time, and now they go to the movie and they watch this and they're like, how did they even like,
Kind of
they destroyed a city to make this
yeah,
movie?
what kind
Like,
of
you know what I mean?
sorcery is this?
Yeah. I was just thinking and that was the thing, how
It's true.
crazy the effects have come to this point to where it's like they can do anything now,
Yes.
you know, with CGI.
Well, and one of my notes is, on the positive side is the CGI in this is fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, "Man, they've" you and I grew up in the era of Star Wars, and we thought that was amazing.
Yeah.
This is just they're spending the money, that's where they get it at, so, I give them mad props for that. Let's see, what else do I have real quick? Da, da, da,
On the notes of the special effects real quick,
yeah,
I almost feel like, because they're able to do anything they want now, they they have to it almost loses the heart of the film when there's so much placed on special effects and not so much on writing.
sure,
Not that they can't both exist, and I think there's examples of where they do match up and they work really well together.
yeah,
Um, I felt like there was a lot of things plot-wise in this movie that were I can overlook as somebody just going to watch this for the entertainment value. But if I was to be critical of it, I would be like, "Well, why is this is the girl that's young, but she's a god and she's been around for 6,000 year
yeah,
whatever, and she's interested in a teenager? That's kinda creepy." You know, even though she looks like a child, she's still 6 you know? I mean, there was a
yeah,
lot of kind of oh, they have a relationship that quickly, like, there's silly stuff like that that you can pick apart, especially plot-wise, because 'cause you're
mhm,
like, "That's" you know? But here we are talking about something that's unrealistic in a
and trying to justify it.
yeah, in a superhero movie,
I
so
yeah,
it's
I mean,
like I kinda take that for what it's
w
worth, you know?
one of the things as I'm watching the movie that I just thought, well, there's an easy fix to all these problems that are happening, and again, maybe you can explain why it didn't work. Just break the staff again.
Yeah, I was
That
thinking that
that
too.
would have solved all of the headaches.
Well, they got I mean, it was broken in the beginning and they got it, and then
Right, but it had no power until they got back together, so break it.
yeah,
And now they don't have their power, and guess what they can't do? They can't
yeah,
put the dome over the city. They can't do
yeah,
all these other things.
yeah,
Um,
one of the other things, on that note was I was thinking how, both I mean, the stakes are high, quote, unquote, "high" in this movie because of all, you know, the people
yeah.
that but, this kind of reminded me I know you never saw, it's one of the Bat or one of the Superman films that I can't remember which one it was offhand. It's a Henry Cavill one, but,
Well, if
y
I saw Superman
there's
v
a lot of
Batman,
destruction. There's a lot of it's not that one, but there's a lot of de although this one kinda has it too. There's a lot of destruction that happens,
yeah,
and which translates to a lot of lives actually be and some of them you see happen.
yeah,
You know, walking the teacher off the roof, kinda you know, some of these things I was kinda like,
yeah.
"Man, I know this is supposed to be lighthearted and fun, but
That's not fun.
there's a lot of freaking death really technically going on in this movie
Sure.
right now." Which I don't know. I mean,
Yeah,
it's gotta have its stakes for
yeah,
it to be, you know, a serious thing, but it's funny how when a film is funny, trying to do all this lighthearted comedy stuff
yeah,
and inject it in it, when you start there's all this death too.
right.
It's like, wow, there's I don't know. There's something there with that, and I don't know that I'm, um, you know, explaining myself very well on that. I'm a
No, I
little bit
got you, though.
tired.
I got you.
I'm tired.
Yeah, alright, well, let's see, I did the staff thing. Real quick, the Wonder Woman dinner scene,
Yeah,
27 minutes, 30 seconds into the movie.
yeah,
Uh, I didn't see that coming.
no,
I was like, "Oh, wow."
yeah,
Very cool, though, it's interesting, and, I'll leave that.
yeah.
And the last note I have, and this is just me being the Beavis and Butthead coming out in me, when they're talking about the dome over the city,
Yeah, the dome.
somebody says, "The city of brotherly love is getting a little moist."
Did you do that? Then you're like,
Well,
he said moist right there.
I laughed out loud, dude.
Yeah.
I did. And again, I know I'll say this endlessly. I think deep down I stunted. I stopped growing mentally at 15. I just get the biggest kick out of innuendos and puns and you know, for what it's worth.
Yeah.
I will say this, did you catch one of the cameos in there? I'll bring it up. This guy.
Oh, yeah.
Did
No,
you
I did not catch it, but I know who that is.
So
You actually
that's
showed another picture of him.
that's the original.
Yeah. That's
Now,
the one you just showed, right?
well, that's a different same guy, but it's a different picture.
Yeah.
He as the camera's panning and he does like a thumbs up, I'm like, "Hey."
Oh, I didn't see it. No,
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't
it's
didn't catch that.
it's when all hell's breaking loose in the city, and
Yeah.
people are running, and the camera's just kind of moving across the city. In that shirt. He's standing in that shirt on the sidewalk, and I was like, "Hey."
And I
I caught
missed it.
that. I really
Funny.
wanted this other cameo that didn't happen.
Oh, no.
It can't.
Oh, golly!
Shazam! I can't let
That's
the
great.
podcast go by without a picture of Gomer Pyle at USMC. Of course, this is Gomer from
I
back in the Andy Griffith days.
Yeah, I really thought you were gonna lead with that. I thought you were gonna come in with the, your whole little line about, "I watched all this Gomer Pyle,
Gary said watch Shazam, and I watched the
and
shit out of
how am
Gomer
I
Pyle.
supposed to review?" We're talking about
Uh,
2 different things here.
yeah, I still to this day I watch a little Andy Griffith every now and then, and I do get a kick out of Gomer's character. But
Yeah.
that's all I got, Gary wise, note wise, Gary, for this film. If you've got anything you want to add, you can.
No,
I
I'll
can
just
leave
say
Gomer up
I'll
if you want, or I can change it.
you can leave Gomer. It's kinda
Golly,
it's a little creepy though,
it's
but,
probably it's a timely reference.
yeah.
He's probably been dead for 20 years.
I will say, I mostly enjoyed this movie. It was escapism for me.
Hmm.
Tara sat and enjoyed it. I think that added to the enjoyment actually watching something that she liked because so many times she goes, "Ugh," to
Yeah.
movies and thumbs down everything.
Well, you want to
So
go ahead and do our ratings on it?
yeah, we can. You mean, do we wanna do our
Yeah.
absolutely. I'll lead this one off. I don't know if
Yeah.
you need any help
No,
with
I
yours.
don't. I got what I
Okay.
need.
But this is gonna be mine. I'm gonna give it 1. I probably would have even given it half. But there were some parts to it that I was like, well, sloppy writing here and there
Sure.
that it kinda spoiled it for me. Now, granted, I did see the first one, and I can totally see it, although I struggle to remember a lot of the parts,
Yeah.
because there's so much,
But they do
there's
explain the Shazamly, right?
yes. Yeah, that is explained in the first one.
Oh, and I wanted to
Um,
also put I didn't know, and I thought this was clever. Then I went back and did some research on the history of Shazam. I didn't know what Shazam stood for.
yeah.
So when they showed it, I'm like, "Oh, that's really clever." And I found out that's actually what it's been since they wrote the comic book. I was like, "Oh, well." Again, I'm a comic book guy.
Well, we? I mean, we collected, but we were
Clearly
very
not.
niche. We were very niche,
We
you know?
were.
I got a lot of, like there was a lot of collecting of, like, let's get all these number 1s of stuff that we don't know if it's gonna be a big deal or not, and then it's
Listen,
like, but I wanna read a lot of
you
Batman.
wanna talk deep about the comic book checkmate, I may be your guy.
You're the
I
guy.
may be the only guy.
That's funny.
Uh,
Uh, let's
l
see what you got,
my
man. What do
rating,
you
Gary,
I know what you're gonna get. Oh, okay. I'm surprised. All right.
well, even after all my carrying on about it, at the end of the day, which I like to say, and I say this, I beat this like a dead horse. I always go back to what you say. You've said since the time I've known you about films. Was I entertained?
Yeah.
I was, and I didn't even see the first one, but I found and this was like what 2 hours long,
Yeah. Just a little over, I
a
think.
little long for Andy. However, I just was like, even with all the things that are bumping me, I still enjoyed this movie.
Yeah.
Like now, I was like, I should have seen the first one. I probably won't see the first one because I still have enough interest in it.
Yeah.
But this didn't anger me like Catwoman did, you know? Yeah,
Well,
there's plot
yeah,
holes, but
Catwoman is just a mess all around. I mean, it fails on all parts. So,
yeah.
this one, like I said, for me, there was a few plot things that I just felt like were a little sloppy written, or some little like some things you pointed out that I don't have a defense for,
Yeah.
but I was entertained. I
Yeah.
enjoyed the time I spent watching it. And maybe that has a little bit to do also with that I really wasn't seeking this movie out. I knew it was out there,
Mhm.
but I was like, I'll watch it eventually at some point. I was in no rush, but when it landed on our list with what critics are giving it, it's like, all right, now let's dive into that one and just see.
Yeah. Uh, if someone asked me, "Should I watch it?" I'd say, "Sure. It's a decent film."
Yeah.
I don't think you'll be mad at the end of the 2 hours going, "That's a bunch of bullshit." You know, it
Well, you might. Just depends
well,
on might
if you
depend on.
if you want my notes and you can look through these things. Um, but yeah, I mean, if you take away all that stuff that I was just kind of griping about, it's an entertaining film. Like I said, the graphics are phenomenal.
Yeah.
Um, it was good to see Helen Mirren. I was like, "Oh, cool, look at her." And, um, yeah, that's all I got. I'm done. I'm gonna finish drinking my coffee.
Me too. I'm ready to roll.
We gotta
I
find some
was
bad movies, Gary. I think we got a couple we need to dig into because I want some anger. I want my cheeks to be a little more flush, and I wanna stomp 'em and pound my fist on a table.
yeah, and make the whole yeah.
I wanna spill my
Um,
coffee.
yeah, and something I failed to mention, we just wrapped up another one here not that long ago. We are always looking for suggestions and feedback and input. I would love to see what other people have to say about tell us we're wrong. You know,
Yeah.
I'm interested. Um, we want to get kind of a little feedback going here and see what other people think. It's not just about our opinion. I want to see other people's opinion too. Uh, so
Yeah.
send in some suggestions to flicks at flickflops podcast. I always fumble over that. Flicks at flickflopspodcast.com. You can send us in your suggestions. We'll probably do go backwards a few times here and there and
Yeah.
pull some older movies that are still critically bad. Maybe they are terrible,
You know what I
and we
struggle
can
with
just
is when I'm sitting here at night, like last week alone, my wife was out of town for 4 days. So I was struggling. I was like, "Oh, this is my chance to watch bad movies."
yeah.
Up in the living room instead of like sitting on my laptop or going down to the basement watching movies. And I
You're
wanna
relegated to the basement.
yeah, yeah. Well, once it
You take
starts,
that shit
she's like, "I'm not watching
downstairs.
this. Go in the other room. We've got plenty of room and plenty of space and 2 TVs." Uh, so I like to pull out bad movies. I'm like, "Oh, I gotta save this because we might do it later."
Yeah,
Or at least if I have to, I gotta take notes now.
right.
Like sometimes you can't. Uh, and we need to do an episode here where we just talk about this. But I have a real love of Nicolas Cage movies, and
Absolutely.
I have another friend who I chat with late at night, Alan, and whenever I get bored, I was like, Alan, I'm getting bored. I'm heading towards the Nicolas Cage, and he's like, Don't do it, man. Don't do it. And
It's a mixed bag, but you can always count on Nicolas Cage to be entertaining,
it is a
regardless.
crapshoot. It is an absolute crapshoot. And sometimes, I mean, he takes it so far over the top, and I'm like, God, this guy's phenomenal. He's the greatest actor of our generation. I mean, you get your Al Pacinos and your Robert De Niro's, but nobody does it like Nick Cage.
Nope. And that's
Uh,
why we're going to introduce the Cagies.
well, we'll have to do an episode where we break down what the long term goal here is,
Yeah, we'll open
and
up the cagey discussion.
and we do need to go see Renfeld.
Yeah, I
So
do want to see that. That's
uh,
that should be our next one, man. I'm all for that.
we'll have to look at our schedules. But I got a couple of bad movie suggestions from some people that have messaged me privately.
Yeah,
So
we've got a couple emails too, I think, where we got some suggestions and
yeah,
some posts
so
on Facebook. Which, by the way, join our Facebook group too.
yeah, we got to get
And
active on that, Gary. I haven't done anything on that. I like to. I'm pretty active on Facebook. I need to get that going and get some people engaged, and we'll go from there.
yeah, I really want to see what other people are thinking too. I'm really interested
Yeah.
and get suggestions. So it'll be fun.
All
And
right.
eventually maybe have some guests on our show.
Oh boy.
Yeah. I know somebody that told us Tequila Sunrise was their favorite film, so
Oh, yeah.
you never know.
We need
We
to
might
talk about that.
you might have to do deep dives like that kind
Dude,
of
I
stuff.
forgot about that. I remember having that conversation. I was like, "So let me understand this in a world that's got
It'll
The Godfather, As Good as It Gets, A Few Good Men,
Hold
Dead
up, hold
Poets
up,
Society."
hold up. You're naming an awful lot of good movies, but I noticed that you missed Tequila Sunrise in that list.
Because I don't Dude, yeah, we gotta he wants to come on. I completely forgot about that guy. I'll have to reach out to him and get him on.
Yeah, we'll do that. It'll be nice
Because
to kinda
I gotta hear his breakdown of that
I
movie.
need to hear I need to hear the defense of that.
I'll definitely make that the effort I'll reach out to him this week, see if we can get him
Yeah.
on the show, and, we'll both watch that movie for sure.
Yeah. Yeah,
And then
it's been since
and
it's
to do a
been
lot of
since
this.
video. Yeah. Yeah,
What?
like, so tell us again how that's
So, over okay.
we'll be able to break out our watch this instead
Yeah,
video or
definitely.
little clip for that.
Alright, Garth, take us home, brother.
All right. Thanks again for watching another episode of Flick Flops. And I got to bring some music up here because there we go. Somewhere in the background.
Oh.
Hope you enjoyed this episode. Please visit us again as we rate critically bad films. Oh, Andy, you did. Maybe I should do it again so you can get your dance in there. Oh,
I
yeah.
can't even help it, man.
I know. It's catchy.
Nice funky beat.
You know, like little hand claps or snaps or whatever we got going on there.
In the build.
Goodbye. Peace.